Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today that's going to set your spirit free. Let go. God is in control of everything. Now, I know life can throw us some serious curveballs. We've all had those moments when we feel like we're juggling a million things: work, family, dreams. And let's not even talk about that never-ending to-do list. But here's the truth. We're not meant to carry that weight alone. Letting go of control is one of the most challenging yet liberating things we can do in our lives. We often find ourselves clinging to the reins, believing that if we just tighten our grip, we can steer our lives exactly where we want them to go. But the truth is, trying to control every aspect of our lives can lead to frustration, stress, and burnout. It's like trying to hold on to sand. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. When we attempt to control everything, we create a mindset of fear and anxiety. We worry about what could happen next. And that constant state of vigilance can be exhausting. Our minds race with thoughts about potential outcomes, and we find ourselves caught in a loop of what ifs. What if I lose my job? What if my relationship doesn't work out? What if I never achieve my dreams? This kind of thinking can paralyze us and prevent us from taking the steps we need to move forward. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it's about recognizing that we don't have to shoulder every burden alone. Life is unpredictable, and while we can plan and prepare, there are factors beyond our control. When we learn to let go, we acknowledge that uncertainty is part of the human experience. It's okay to not have all the answers. In fact, that's where growth happens, outside our comfort zones, in the unknown. This act of surrender allows us to open ourselves up to new possibilities. When we release our grip on control, we create space for opportunities we might have missed while fixated on a specific outcome. We start to see the world with fresh eyes, discovering paths we hadn't considered before. Instead of being hindered by fear of the unknown, we become curious about it. We start to embrace the journey rather than obsess over the destination. Moreover, letting go cultivates trust, not only in ourselves, but also in a higher power, in the universe, or whatever you may believe in. Trust is a powerful force that can transform our lives. When we trust that things will unfold as they should, we free ourselves from the burden of constant worry. This doesn't mean we stop taking action. Rather, we become more intentional about our choices. We focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our responses, our efforts, while releasing the outcomes to something greater. Letting go also fosters resilience. Life is filled with ups and downs, and when we become overly attached to specific results, we set ourselves up for disappointment. By letting go, we learn to adapt and respond to change more effectively. We become more like water, flowing around obstacles rather than crashing against them. This flexibility enables us to bounce back from setbacks and view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as insurmountable barriers. Additionally, when we let go, we nurture our mental and emotional well-being. The constant pressure to control everything can lead to anxiety and stress. By relinquishing that pressure, we invite peace into our lives. We learn to appreciate the present moment, savoring the little joys that often go unnoticed when we're too focused on what's next. We can engage more deeply with our relationships, finding fulfillment in connection rather than comparison. Ultimately, letting go of control is about embracing the beauty of life's unpredictability. It's about acknowledging that we are part of a much larger tapestry, one that we can't always see but can trust to unfold as it should. This journey of surrendering control is ongoing, filled with challenges and rewards. Each step we take toward letting go brings us closer to a life marked by peace, purpose, and possibility. Trusting in God's plan is a foundational element of faith that can transform how we navigate life challenges. Life is often unpredictable, filled with twists and turns that can leave us feeling lost or overwhelmed. In these moments, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we must have all the answers or that we need to control every situation. However, trusting in a higher power allows us to step back and embrace the idea that there is a greater purpose at work. When we trust in God's plan, we acknowledge that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. This perspective helps us understand that our individual struggles and setbacks may serve a purpose we cannot yet see. Often we find ourselves in situations that test our patience, faith, and resilience. In those moments, trusting that God has a plan for us can provide comfort and hope. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles and that there is a reason behind every challenge we face. This trust doesn't come naturally to everyone. It requires a conscious decision to let go of our desire for immediate understanding. We live in a culture that values instant gratification, where we often expect quick solutions to our problems. Yet God's timeline is not always aligned with ours. We may find ourselves waiting for answers, healing, or direction. During these waiting periods, it can be difficult to maintain faith, but this is where true trust is cultivated. It's about holding on to the belief that even when things seem chaotic, God is orchestrating events for our good. Moreover, trusting in God's plan encourages us to cultivate patience. In our fast-paced world, we often rush through life, eager to reach our goals. However, trusting means recognizing that growth takes time. Just like a seed planted in the ground, we must allow time for our lives to develop and flourish. This patience can be incredibly rewarding, as it allows us to appreciate the journey rather than fixating solely on the end result. Each step we take, even the difficult ones, contributes to our growth and prepares us for what lies ahead. When we trust in God's plan, we also foster a sense of peace. Life can be chaotic, and uncertainty often leads to anxiety. But when we place our faith in a higher purpose, we learn to let go of the need to control every outcome. This doesn't mean we become passive. Instead, we become more empowered to take action in alignment with our values and beliefs. We can pursue our dreams with confidence, knowing that we are guided by a greater wisdom. Trusting in God's plan also strengthens our resilience. Life will undoubtedly present us with obstacles, but when we believe that there is a purpose behind those challenges, we become more equipped to face them. Instead of feeling defeated, we can approach difficulties with a mindset of curiosity. What can I learn from this experience? How can I grow through this challenge? This shift in perspective helps us develop a stronger character and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Additionally, trusting in God's plan encourages us to connect with others. We realize that we are not on this journey alone. Sharing our struggles and triumphs with friends, family, or our community fosters a sense of belonging. It reminds us that we are part of a collective experience where our stories intertwine with those of others. In supporting one another, we strengthen our faith and reinforce the idea that we are all walking a path guided by a higher purpose. Ultimately, trusting in God's plan is about surrendering our need for certainty and embracing the beauty of faith. It invites us to let go of our limited understanding and to open our hearts to the possibilities that lie ahead. This trust can be a source of profound strength, allowing us to navigate life with confidence and grace, even in the face of adversity. Embracing the journey is a transformative mindset that can profoundly affect how we experience life. In a world that often prioritizes results and destinations, it's easy to become fixated on the end goals we want to achieve. We set our sights on milestones, whether it's a promotion at work, buying a home, or reaching personal fitness goals, and sometimes lose sight of the beauty in the process itself. Embracing the journey invites us to shift our focus from the finish line to the steps we take along the way, allowing us to find joy and meaning in every moment. Life is not just about achieving goals. It's about the experiences we gather as we move toward them. Each day presents us with opportunities to learn, grow, and connect. When we embrace the journey, we begin to appreciate the small victories, the moments of laughter with friends, the lessons learned from setbacks, and the discoveries we make about ourselves. These experiences shape who we are and lay the foundation for our future success. Instead of merely enduring the journey until we reach our destination, we can savor every step and celebrate the richness of life. Additionally, embracing the journey allows us to cultivate resilience. Challenges and obstacles are inevitable, but how we respond to them can make all the difference. When we view difficulties as part of the journey, we are more likely to adapt and overcome. Instead of becoming discouraged by setbacks, we can reframe them as opportunities for growth. This mindset enables us to bounce back from adversity with greater strength and determination. We learn that failures are not the end. They are stepping stones that lead us closer to our goals. Moreover, embracing the journey fosters a deeper connection with our passions and values. When we are focused solely on outcomes, we may find ourselves pursuing goals that don't truly resonate with who we are. But by paying attention to the journey, we become more attuned to what brings us joy and fulfillment. We start to ask ourselves meaningful questions. What do I enjoy doing? What are my values? This self-discovery process can lead to a more authentic and purposeful life. We align our actions with our passions, making the journey not just about reaching a destination, but about living in harmony with ourselves. Another significant aspect of embracing the journey is cultivating mindfulness. In our fast-paced lives, we often rush from one task to another, barely taking a moment to pause and reflect. However, when we embrace the journey, we become more present in our daily lives. We learn to appreciate the little things, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of laughter, the taste of our favorite meal. This mindfulness enriches our experiences and allows us to cultivate gratitude for what we have in the here and now. Additionally, embracing the journey encourages us to build meaningful relationships. As we navigate life, we encounter people who share our path, and these connections can have a profound impact on our experiences. When we engage with others and share our stories, we create a sense of community and belonging. Together, we can celebrate victories and support one another through challenges. These relationships enhance our journey, making it richer and more rewarding. Ultimately, embracing the journey is about living fully and authentically. It invites us to let go of the pressure to achieve and to instead focus on the beauty of each moment. This mindset empowers us to engage with life in a way that is more meaningful and fulfilling. By recognizing that the journey itself is just as important as the destination, we open ourselves up to a life filled with joy, purpose, and connection. Each day becomes an opportunity to learn, grow, and appreciate the unique experiences that shape our lives. Finding peace in surrender is a profound and transformative practice that can significantly alter our approach to life's challenges. In a world that often values control, strength, and self-sufficiency, surrendering can feel counterintuitive. Yet, the act of letting go and accepting what we cannot change can bring about a deep sense of tranquility and fulfillment. When we allow ourselves to release the burdens of expectation and the constant need to manage every detail, we open the door to a state of peace that permeates our lives. At its core, surrendering means acknowledging that we cannot control every outcome. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with twists and turns that we often cannot foresee. When we cling to the illusion of control, we set ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. The more tightly we grip our plans and expectations, the more stress and anxiety we invite into our lives. On the other hand, when we practice surrender, we allow ourselves to accept life as it comes. This acceptance doesn't mean we resign ourselves to passivity. Rather, it empowers us to respond to life's circumstances with grace and resilience. Finding peace in surrender also involves trusting that everything happens for a reason. When we encounter difficulties or setbacks, it's easy to question why these events are occurring. We may wonder what we did wrong or why we're facing such challenges. However, surrendering to the belief that there is a greater purpose at work can provide solace. It allows us to step back and view our experiences from a broader perspective. Often the lessons learned during our most challenging times are the ones that contribute most significantly to our personal growth. Moreover, embracing surrender cultivates mindfulness and presence. When we surrender our need for control, we become more attuned to the present moment. We learn to appreciate what is happening right now, rather than fixating on what we think should happen in the future. This mindfulness fosters a sense of peace, as we are no longer caught in a cycle of worry about what's next. Instead, we can engage fully with our current experiences, finding joy in the little things that might otherwise go unnoticed. The practice of surrender also encourages self-compassion. We often hold ourselves to high standards, expecting perfection in our actions and outcomes. However, surrendering allows us to recognize our limitations and imperfections. We become kinder to ourselves, understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable and to seek help when needed. This self-compassion is a vital component of finding inner peace, as it frees us from the relentless pressure to perform and achieve. Additionally, finding peace in surrender can strengthen our relationships with others. When we let go of the need to control everything, we become more open and receptive. This openness invites deeper connections with those around us. We learn to trust others and to rely on their support, creating a sense of community and belonging. These relationships can provide us with comfort and reassurance during challenging times, reinforcing the idea that we don't have to navigate life alone. Surrendering also encourages us to explore new possibilities. When we are rigid in our expectations, we may miss out on opportunities that don't align with our preconceived notions of success. By surrendering, we create space for spontaneity and creativity. We become more willing to embrace the unexpected, discovering new paths that lead us to fulfillment. This openness to new experiences can enhance our lives in ways we never imagined. Ultimately, finding peace and surrender is a journey of self-discovery and growth. It invites us to embrace uncertainty and to cultivate a deeper sense of trust in ourselves and the world around us. As we learn to let go of our need for control, we open ourselves to a life that is rich with possibility, joy, and connection. This practice can become a source of profound strength, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with grace and serenity. Recognizing the lessons and struggles is an essential part of personal growth and development. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. And while these experiences can be difficult and painful, they also offer valuable insights and opportunities for learning. Often we view struggles as roadblocks, hindrances to our success and happiness. However, when we shift our perspective and recognize that every challenge has the potential to teach us something profound, we begin to embrace these moments as essential parts of our journey. Struggles can teach us resilience. When faced with adversity, we are forced to confront our limitations and find ways to overcome them. Each time we rise from a setback, we build our inner strength and fortitude. This resilience is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to practice this resilience, allowing us to approach future difficulties with greater confidence and determination. Moreover, recognizing the lessons in struggles encourages self-reflection. When we encounter challenges, it prompts us to take a step back and evaluate our choices, actions, and mindset. This self-reflection can lead to significant personal insights. We might discover patterns in our behavior that contribute to our struggles or identify areas where we need to grow. This awareness is crucial for personal development. It helps us make informed decisions and adjustments that can lead to more fulfilling experiences. Additionally, struggles can deepen our empathy and compassion for others. When we experience pain and difficulty, we gain a better understanding of what others may be going through. This shared human experience fosters a sense of connection and solidarity. We become more inclined to support those who are facing their own challenges, recognizing that we are all navigating the complexities of life together. This empathy enriches our relationships and allows us to create a more compassionate world. Another important lesson from struggles is the realization that perfection is an unrealistic standard. We often hold ourselves to high expectations, believing that we must always succeed and avoid failure. However, struggles remind us that setbacks are a natural part of life. They teach us that it's okay to falter. Embracing our imperfections allows us to cultivate a healthier relationship with ourselves, where we can celebrate progress rather than fixating solely on outcomes. Struggles also encourage us to reassess our priorities and values. When we face adversity, we are often forced to confront what truly matters to us. This introspection can lead to a clearer understanding of our goals and desires. We may find that certain pursuits are no longer aligned with our values, or that we need to refocus our energy on what brings us joy and fulfillment. This clarity can lead to more intentional living and decision-making. Moreover, the lessons learned from struggles can inspire others. When we share our experiences and the insights we've gained, we empower those around us to face their own challenges with courage. Our stories of resilience and growth can serve as a beacon of hope for others who may be struggling in silence. This sense of community and support can create a ripple effect, encouraging others to embrace their struggles and learn from them. Ultimately, recognizing the lessons and struggles is a vital part of our journey towards self-discovery and fulfillment. It invites us to view challenges not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. By embracing this perspective, we can cultivate resilience, deepen our empathy, and gain clarity about our values and priorities. Each struggle we face becomes a stepping stone on the path to a more enriched and meaningful life. Celebrating divine timing is a profound concept that encourages us to recognize and appreciate the unique rhythms of life. In a society that often prioritizes speed and immediate results, it can be challenging to accept that some things unfold according to a greater plan that is beyond our control. We may find ourselves frustrated when our desires don't manifest as quickly as we'd like, or when we encounter unexpected delays. However, understanding and embracing divine timing can lead to a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Divine timing teaches us that everything happens at the right moment. This perspective encourages us to trust that there is a purpose behind every delay or obstacle we face. It's easy to feel discouraged when our goals seem out of reach or when we experience setbacks. but recognizing that each moment is part of a larger tapestry can help us maintain hope. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we may not initially understand, and often what seems like a detour may actually be a necessary step in our journey. Moreover, celebrating divine timing helps us cultivate patience. In a world that often glorifies hustle and quick achievements, it's essential to remember that meaningful growth takes time. Just as a seed requires nurturing and time to sprout, our dreams and aspirations often need a similar process. When we embrace divine timing, we learn to appreciate the waiting periods as opportunities for growth, reflection, and preparation. These moments can allow us to develop the skills and qualities needed to fully embrace the opportunities that eventually come our way. Another key aspect of divine timing is the idea that some opportunities are simply not meant for us at certain times. Life is full of choices, and while we may desire a specific outcome, it may not align with our greater purpose. Celebrating divine timing invites us to recognize that sometimes what we perceive as missed opportunities are actually redirections towards something better suited for our journey. This understanding encourages us to remain open and receptive, allowing us to embrace whatever comes our way. Additionally, divine timing fosters a sense of gratitude. When we learn to recognize the beauty and the timing of our experiences, we become more aware of the blessings in our lives. Instead of focusing solely on what we lack or what hasn't happened yet, we can take a moment to appreciate the journey and the lessons learned along the way. Gratitude shifts our perspective and helps us cultivate a positive mindset, even in the face of challenges. Moreover, celebrating divine timing encourages us to connect with our intuition. When we trust the timing of our lives, we become more attuned to our inner guidance. We learn to listen to our instincts and recognize when it's the right moment to take action or when it's best to pause and reflect. This connection to our intuition empowers us to make decisions that align with our true selves, rather than merely following societal expectations or pressures. Furthermore, embracing divine timing enhances our relationships with others. When we understand that everyone is on their unique path and timeline, we can cultivate compassion for those around us. We learn to celebrate their successes without feeling threatened by our own progress. This sense of community allows us to support one another, recognizing that we are all navigating life's complexities together. By celebrating each other's journeys, we create a more positive and uplifting environment. Ultimately, celebrating divine timing is about surrendering to the flow of life. It invites us to trust that we are exactly where we need to be at this moment, even if it doesn't align with our initial expectations. By embracing this perspective, we can cultivate patience, gratitude, and a deeper connection to ourselves and others. Divine timing reminds us that life is a beautiful journey filled with lessons, growth, and the promise of new beginnings unfolding at precisely the right moment for each of us. In conclusion, embracing the concepts of letting go, trusting in God's plan, and celebrating divine timing can profoundly transform our lives. Each of these elements encourages us to shift our perspective, allowing us to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. When we recognize that struggles serve as valuable lessons, we cultivate empathy, patience, and a deeper connection to ourselves and others. By surrendering our need for control and accepting that life unfolds according to a greater plan, we can find peace in the present moment. Moreover, celebrating divine timing helps us appreciate the unique rhythm of our journeys. It teaches us that every setback or delay can lead us to new opportunities and growth, fostering gratitude for the lessons life presents. This holistic approach empowers us to live more authentically and intentionally, enriching our relationships and enhancing our overall well-being.